Hello, everybody, and welcome to Life School 101. My name is Mary Adams, and I'm here with my co-host,
Linda Carbonneau. Hey, I heard we got a really good subject matter today, Mary. You want to talk a little bit about that, maybe? And then we'll introduce who we got Yeah.
I do. We've got a fantastic guest today, and today we're going to be talking about scholarships. And the reason we invited this guest to come and join us is that she has the key, and she knows how to get those big scholarships and how to apply and how to get this process going. So it's going to be fantastic information, whether you have a grandchild or it's for one of your children or you're thinking of going back to school.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I've always thought about that too, going back to school or whatever. I think this is going to be a good subject. And, there's a lot of people out there that don't know how they're going to get their kids to school, So it's going to be great. So I thank you for that. And do you want to introduce our guest today?
I would love to. So our guest today is Anjali Maazel. And Anjali is the founder and CEO of Anja Education Consultants and the mother of a thriving college student. For over 15 years, she has worked as an alumna interview for Princeton University and has obtained an in-depth understanding of the Ivy League admission process. She has so much information to share with us today. I'm going to invite her in to tell us a little bit more about what she does. Anjali, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Linda. I'm very excited to be here.
Anjali, could you start out telling us a little bit more about what you do for your clients?
Absolutely. So I'm really interested in addressing a need in this country. The college admissions and college funding system is really broken, and we really need to be helping families not only afford the college education, but also find the right college for their kids. So really my mission is to make the whole process extremely streamlined, to reduce the stress around it, and to maximize scholarships.
So Anjali, I think that's great. But how do you? I mean, you're talking about the whole world changing everything and the way that people have struggled to get into college. So this is something that you can help people with.
Yes. So there are a lot of myths surrounding, first of all, the cost of college. Generally, we think that if we don't have a lot of funding for college or money set aside, that our options are much more limited than they actually are. Sometimes the sticker price of a college has no relationship with the actual cost of attendance. So one of the things that I want to do today is I really want to explain how to understand cost of attendance. And that then can help people determine which colleges are right for them, whether you're a high school student or returning.
Oh, that's great. Don't you think, Mary? That's going to be wonderful to cover that today and help people. That and I just wanted to say one more thing, Mary, sorry. This is the time. This is the time because college applications are going to be coming pretty soon after people graduate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So college applications generally for the seniors, they're going to be due beginning in the fall of 2018. So now is a good time because you'll have the entire summer to do this. However, my kind of approach is really for families to start thinking about this way before senior year. Start thinking about it as early as middle school, and then I'll explain how that works.
So Anjali, I want to ask you, is this we're talking about just high school students here, college students, or are we also talking about adults?
Yes, well, there is, in terms of scholarships, there certainly are scholarships are available not only for high school students, but also what we call non-traditional students. So students returning to college after having worked or raised a family. There are many, many options that many of us are not aware of. Mm-hmm. And wouldn't it be wonderful to know that the sky's the limit, right?
Absolutely. I agree with that. And, you know, this is the first time that I'm actually hearing about that this is available to adults too. You know, I know they have adult learning and all of that, and I know they got like community college here, but you're talking about going beyond that, right?
Yes, yes. In terms of availability of scholarships and what kinds of scholarships are available, I think it's really important to understand how colleges determine what you as a family, what we as families are going to be contributing. Either it's to our kids' education or our own education. There's several ways that they figure that out. One of them is what they call need-based financial aid. And that is determined by the family's resources. So it'll be things like assets, savings, income, all of that. The other side of that is merit-based financial aid. And that will be determined by things like grades, class rank, standardized tests like SAT, ACT, but also, and this is really the focus of my practice and my interest, on talent. How can a particular talent help you obtain scholarship money? Now, those are the two kind of main divisions. There's also for non-traditional students and also for high school students, there are scholarships that will correspond to a particular kind of student. For example, a woman having raised a family who's been out of the workforce for a number of years will have access to certain scholarships based on her belonging to that category, which is an interesting thing to know. And then I will give resources and where people can find these scholarships.
Wow, that is so exciting to me personally, just in for myself, but also for my practice, that this is something that I can go to someone who is in transformation and I'm working with them to take that next big leap. This is definitely on the plate. And so that to me opens up all sorts of possibilities. So Anjali, what is the first step in this process? How does one go about applying for a scholarship or finding out more about scholarships?
So the ideal way to go about this is to plan early. So I'm going to give some steps for the parents of middle school students, high school students, and then of course we can talk about adults. I am hearing a little bit of an echo. Do you?
Okay, sounds good.
I don't know what that was good. That was about. Okay, so right, the different steps. So if you are the parent of a middle school child, and you're already thinking, how are we going to afford this college education? How are we going to get our kids down the road to the school that is going to be the best fit for them? What you can do is take a kind of very open-minded approach to their future. Give them as many opportunities to explore their talents and strengths. Now, if funding for these activities is an issue, there are many very good nonprofits that you can connect with that will supply mentors for free. And will help guide students. For example, if the student has a very significant talent or is interested in art, there are nonprofits that will pair artists with the students. If resources are not so much of an issue, then somebody like me who has a very strong background in the arts can help pair students with mentors who will help them explore their talents and develop them. So talent development is really one way to prepare quite early for this.
Anjali, what age? I'm sorry, Anjali, what age would you start looking into scholarships and college and getting that child ready, like you're talking about?
I would say middle school is really from 6th to 8th grade. So I would say anywhere between 12 and 14 is great time to start. Now, this is not about pressuring anybody. It's not about getting kind of into some kind of, crazy rat race with college admissions, because sometimes people do feel very pressured. It's not about that. It's really about helping the child to explore their strengths, their possibilities. That's in middle school. In high school, if that has already been done in middle school, then high school is a great time, starting freshman year, to begin choosing and focusing on one particular extracurricular talent. Now, there's when I spoke earlier about the different kinds of aid that you can get from colleges, one of them is talent-based, but the other is academic. So what you want to do is fill the gaps, fill the academic gaps, whatever the student is struggling with, is to try to raise that GPA. And the thing about it is, and this is one of the most important thing, I think, for families, if you start doing this early, there's no sense of stress or rush or, oh my gosh, it's junior year and the GPA is 3, but we need a merit scholarship, right?
Yep.
If you start early addressing the academic gaps, if you start, let's say, in sophomore year or even freshman year, preparing for whether it's the SAT or ACT, in a way that supports the child's well-being, no rush, no pressure, no stress, but slowly going about putting together the pieces that will make a winning college application and winning scholarship application. That's how I believe that taking the time and planning in advance is how families can best support their kids' well-being, and also set themselves up to obtain the scholarships.
Anjali, I just have kind of a silly question for you. I know probably nobody else knows this, but I want to know, what kind of talent? I mean, could it be like fashion show or singing, or what are you talking about when you talk about talent?
That's a very, very interesting question. And it's one that's very dear to my heart, because I feel that all of us are talented in some area, right? Mm-hmm. So what we traditionally call talent is artistic talent, musical comedy, singing, dancing, etc. However, talent can be anything from fashion design, as you said, to things like community leadership. For example, a student who really cares about the community and is making efforts and taking initiative to address problems in the community and help support in whatever way, that's a talent. A student who is an entrepreneur who started a business, it doesn't matter the scale of the business, that is going to be a talent. A student who's very good in communication, somebody who's a connector, who connects people to each other. There's always a way to identify those strengths and then to build on them and help the students. It also is extremely beneficial for the student's self-esteem, which then has an incredible impact on everything, is to help them recognize what their strengths are. And it's an exciting process. It really is. And then at the end of that process, down the line, when they're applying to college at end of their junior year, senior year, then when they write their essays, wow, what a compelling story to tell, right? They're telling the story of what fires their imagination, what their passion is, how they've brought that into the service of their community. It becomes, if you plan carefully, the whole process can actually be a process of self-discovery. Now, I do want to say, for parents who are hearing this and who are saying, "Oh my gosh, I've missed the boat. My kid is in his junior or her junior or senior year," not at all, because at that point, there's a way of looking back and pulling the threads together, and finding that compelling story and helping the student to really capitalize on what they've already done. So at any stage in the process, it's possible to maximize chances for scholarships, chances for admissions, and also in the financial aid part of it, the part that is the need-based aid, to, if you understand the system, to maximize the amount of money that the college will offer you based on need, and that the federal government will offer you based on need. There are ways of doing that that are, actually more financially oriented. Does that?
Anjali, it does. Thank you so much. And to add to that, are we talking about just universities, or are we also talking about junior colleges and trade schools?
Well, in terms of junior colleges and trade schools, all of the educational options can offer amazing doors that will then lead to the career that's the right fit for the person. So I think there is no, the good thing about the community colleges, junior colleges, is that often the cost is already very low. So that a family that is planning can include, for example, a junior college or a community college as a actual strategy for keeping the cost of a college education low, in the sense that a student can transfer out of that 2-year program into a 4-year program, and the overall cost will be reduced. So that can come into play. And then, of course, trade school, the idea behind really trying to fit programs and financial aid approaches to each family is to make sure that the student will blossom. So for some people, it looks like, junior college and college. For other people, it's going to look like a trade school. There's no right or wrong. This is about making sure that our children thrive.
I had one more question for you, Anjali, if that's okay. I want to know, what about people with disabilities, mental health disabilities or physical disabilities? Is there any funding for that? I mean, to help them?
Yes, there. Yeah, those. There are many colleges now that are actually specialized in helping students who are challenged in a variety of ways to find a path forward that is going to also help them thrive and maximize their gifts. So it's amazing. It really is. I just was at a conference last week, and there was an entire room filled with programs. The tables were representatives of these programs were talking about the different options. I think families, the important thing is to actually be able to access that information, but there is a lot out there.
Well, that's cool. I know we're getting towards the end of the show, but Mary, did you have another question for Anjali before we wrap it up?
Well, I just wanted to thank you, Anjali. You gave people a lot of hope today. I think that scholarships and college application, these types of things are a mystery to most of us, to me, very much so with my own kiddos. And it's been a challenge to know what direction and that there is so much available out there. And so I really thank you for coming here and sharing all of this information. And I'd like to kind of give you the floor and give us some of your final thoughts.
Well, what I'd like to say is for me, the most important thing when I see families and making choices is to enter into it with a long view, the long perspective. Where do we want our kids to be in 5 years, in 10 years? What kind of experience in life do we want them to have? That helps overcome kind of the tunnel vision of thinking they have to get into this school, or they have to, we have to have this financial plan for them. I think if we really hold them in very high esteem and give them the trust to know that within them are the gifts, that if we give them those circumstances, allow those gifts to blossom, that they will find their way. I find that is one of the most important elements of this whole process, which gets forgotten because people are so focused on the short term.
Right.
So,
and I want to give you an opportunity to give people your information where they can get a hold of you. Sound good?
Wonderful. So you can reach me at my email is info at anjadu, anjedu.com. My website is anjadu.com, anjedu.com. You can also call me at 512-203-2012. Hope to hear from you.
And Anjali, you told me you had a special offer for people who are watching today.
I do. So for today's viewers, I'd like to offer a consultation, a 30-minute consultation. And I would love to find out where you are in this college application process and what your family's needs are, and give you as much support as I can.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anjali. This was an amazing opportunity to spend time with you. And I want to thank everybody out there for watching today and being a part of this show. And if you know someone that can use this information, go to our YouTube channel, if you know someone that can use this information, go to our YouTube channel, Life School 101 TV, and you can share this archive with them to find out more information. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next time.
And this is Linda Carbonell, and I also want to thank you, Anjali. I'd like to consider you can contact myself or Mary. So my information is, my email is walklife@comcast.net, and I will have Mary give you her information.
You can find us at lifeschool101.tv and find all of our information and contact information there.
But anyway, I hope you're enjoying everything that's going on with Anjali, and I hope you take her up on her offer. Okay, so for right now, we are saying goodbye for Life School 101, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
My little girl, well, she means everything to me. She can lift me